Thank you for joining me today, and we are going to go through the low lunge for Hatha Yoga, and I'm also going to show you a little way of pulling your leg through for sun salutations. If you don't know what sun salutations are, just go on Google, have a look. It's like a little routine. It's also known as part of it's known as a vinyasa as well. I tend to not do many of them in the Hatha classes, or I offer lots of alternatives, or do it a slightly different way, just nature of the clients that I work with. So I'm going to show you how you can use blocks to help you with that. So let's get started. Now, if you have knee issues, this is not going to be nice. So pad yourself, not yourself, but you might want to either use your mat under your knee. You might want to put a towel under your mat lengthways. Always find that works quite well within the classes. But sometimes, if you have got like arthritis or something in the knee, there are just some poses that's not even worth doing. That's going to cause you too much pain, and this is probably one of them. But you can always watch, give it a go, and if it's causing you pain, then just stop doing it. So from here, I'm going to show you with both legs so that we can talk through it. But when we come into the low lunge, the knee's on the floor. Okay? Now, depending on the flexibility of your back leg, some people's leg might be quite far back, and some people's might be quite close. What you don't want is the knee directly under the hip. Otherwise, there's no stretch going on there. So you want it further back. Okay? So that's the back leg. Your back foot is to the wall behind you. So I'm going to show you what sickle means. So just be aware that your foot's not doing something like that. You want it flat behind you. Okay? And then your front leg, the knee is directly over the ankle. So what I like to look at is the seam of the trousers. Are they vertical or are they at an angle? So generally people aren't in that position. They're in this kind of position. And there is a pose, and this can be really good for a calf stretch, but it's not a low lunge. So we just need to recognize that there are two different movements, and we are doing a low lunge. So what we want to do with a low lunge is to have the knee directly above the ankle. Okay? So there's a nice 90 degree there. Now, depending on your hip flexibility, the muscles in the front of your leg, the back of your leg, everyone's low lunge is going to be different from there right down to there. Now, unfortunately, because we have Instagram and all those kinds of things, you see a lot of people, I'm going to exaggerate it, in that kind of position doing that. A, that's not good for the lower back, and it's not good for the hip joint. So when I am teaching low lunges, my lunges are a lot smaller, but they're a lot more muscle focused, okay? Especially as we get older, the tissues in our body are not as elastic as they were when we were 20, and we don't want to damage our tendons, ligaments and stuff, because once they're damaged. So instead of trying to hang out of the hip, what I like to do is come out of it, do a little pelvic tilt. So you're going to pull the pubic bone towards the belly button and then move slightly in. So now I'm feeling that massively in the muscles rather than there, right in that joint where I know that's going to be the connective tissues of the body. So when you're in there, you come out of it slightly, do a little pelvic tilt, so bring that pubic bone towards the belly button, and then you lean into it slightly. So you can see I'm still quite high, but I'm like, ooh, I can feel that. What you can also do if you want to add a little bit is start pushing down through the rear foot, and the knee will start to feel a little lighter. So if you have got knee issues, this is a good way to just take a little bit of pressure off of that knee, and you're going to feel this muscle really, really active. And then we can stay in that position. It's your low lunge. So you can either have your hands there. Through the sequences and poses, we might have the hands there. I tend not to do that one because I think It's just hinging in the back. There's other movements we can do that's safer and you'll get more out. So I might just take the hands behind. Still getting a chest open, but we're protecting the lower back. Your toes are pointing forward. We might take the arms to the side. We might do a side bend, but that whole time I'm keeping this pubic bone pulled and I'm working in that back leg. So what happens now is my abdominals are getting stronger, my legs getting stronger, which is far more beneficial than just being in this position. Whew, let me come out of that, give that leg a rest. Okay. So when we're coming into some positions, I don't tend to teach a lot of these anyway because a lot of my clients can't come on their knees. But it might be somewhere where we want to pull the leg through, or we might be in a plank or a downward dog and we want to pull the leg through. And this is something that, here comes a rant. This is something that really annoys me is when teachers say, keep practicing because you'll get there one day. Some people have got really long legs and they might have a long body and they've got a big belly and they've got big boobs and they've got really short arms. And they are never going to get there unless they can grow the length of their arms. They're not going to get there. So what you can do to give you more arm length is to lift the floor, okay, to make the floor higher. And then what that does is it gives you more space to pull your leg through, okay, or even coming into there. So that is a much better alternative than keep practicing, you'll get there. Because, like I said, unless you can grow bones when you're 50 years old, then no, you're not going to get there. So if you look for me, for example, you can see my fingers are just about touching my knees. I've got clients whose hands are there. So there's no way, if their shin bones are longer than their arms, that they're going to get there. It's impossible. It's science. You're not going to get there. So use blocks. Don't think of blocks as, oh, I'm not good. It's like, oh, how can I grow my arms 2 inches? We'll use a block. So that's what we can use that for. Some of the poses, let me change legs. We'll have the hands on the outside. Again, if you've got really big boobs and a big belly, just come onto the inside of the leg. And I will cue that through the classes. Like I said, I tend not to do fast-flowing stuff. I prefer to focus on alignment and getting the muscles working and just settling into the position. So I will cue you through it. But these are just alternatives. Should you be doing any other classes online, or perhaps you're going to a face-to-face class and you're always struggling to get your leg through, just try using a couple of blocks. And it doesn't mean that you're not good. Just think you're trying to lift the floor or you're trying to give your arm a few extra inches. So that is lunges for you. Low lunge. Take care.